Yes. All right.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah.
Don't even look 49 now.
Oh, no. Oh, there it is.
I got deep pockets, so there you go.
Oh, thank you.
Hang on.
I got six Yeah. My name's Al. I'm alcoholic. Geez, I had forgotten about this. We left when the group, I guess, after COVID. And the Twinkie thing would happen every month. They'd give out Twinkies for every 7-year period that there was. And so anyway, thank you. I told Brad that, what was it? Somewhere along the line, I said, well, I heard that they're still eating spam from the World War II, and over in the islands, they'd find cases of spam, and they're eating. And the shelf life was well over 35 years. And so I said, well, you know, that's what you get if it stays over 35 years. You get a can of spam. Well, what happened was he was shopping, and he saw this little can of spam. And I forgot what birthday it was. It must have been 42, I imagine. But he bought me a can of spam, and I still got that can. So he's getting it back sooner or later. Anyway, sobriety has been just one big journey like that, where the things, you know, for me, the people that I've met along the way have been my support, have been what's kept me really active and wanting to stay sober. And for them, you know, they say you can't do it for some, you got to do it for yourself. I didn't do it for me all the time. You know, when I first sobered up, I did it on shithouse luck. That I was just lucky that I walked into the meeting, and the things that happened. And I got to say that because I didn't have a God in my life at that time, and I didn't have any spiritualness to it at all. And I stayed sober on what willpower I could muster for as long as I could, and until I broke down and had to decide if I wanted to keep this or not. And if I wanted to keep it, then what I was hearing and seeing around the program, I had to digest it into my life. And boy, there was a whole lot of things that were happening. And you know, since then, chasing sobriety, what it was like, what happened is what I was like. You know, when I was drinking, I was a pretty normal drunk that's described in the big book on several occasions there. And worse, way worse. I was skid row falling down, Fisher pants, sniveling wino, where I ended up at 26 years old. And couldn't make sense out of anything. So anyway, stumbled into Alcoholics Anonymous, and that was grace. That was the grace of God that got me there, because the things that happened, the circumstances that happened that made that possible were pretty unbelievable. You talked about the 1504 Club. I one time walked into I was in treatment, and they opened up treatment from 28 days. And the reason it's 28 days is so that a person going into treatment can be in and out within a month and thereby get a welfare check. That's why it's 28 days. So they opened it up and they said, we're going to try something else. It wasn't working very good. People weren't staying sober going through treatment. They said, we're going to let people stay as long as they want, and we're going to let you be the leading star on this deal. And so I said, yeah, I'll do it. And they said, you can have all the freedom. You can come and go from the treatment center all you want, looking for a job or living life and doing school or whatever. As long as you're being productive, then you can stay. And so I said, sure. And I went out and bought a tennis racket and decided that I was going to keep doing all that stuff. But I stumbled upon people that said that I needed to go to AA if I wanted to stay sober, and that's what I was doing there. You know, I knew people were staying sober, so I came back. I had gone through treatment, got out, got drunk, and gave up and went back to find out what it was I had missed. And they said, go to a place called AA and the big hall. And so I did, and I went down to the big hall and walked in at 1504. And I walked in, and there was a round table. And some of the guys that were very instrumental in keeping this stuff going at the very beginning were there. There was 4 guys there, and they were in polyester suits, and they had, you know, donut stains on them. And anyway, they were sitting at a table, and they were drinking coffee, and they had coffee cups and saucers. And there was 4 guys sitting around a table, and so I came in, ordered a cup of coffee, and sat down on the table over a little ways away from them. And so they asked me, they said, "Do I have any questions?" They said, "Kid, you got any questions?" I said, "No." I figured I was doing the same thing they were doing. I was sitting there having a cup of coffee, and that was staying sober. And that was my first experience with Alcoholics Anonymous when I wanted it, once I had wanted to stay sober. And I didn't want AA even. I didn't think that would work. I had been to AA before. I'd gone to a meeting one time, and the guy asked me to can I pick you up the second week, and he never showed. And I got drunk, and I stayed drunk for another 2 years. So, and I don't blame that guy, or I don't, you know, it was a helpful thing in a way. It got me to where when I went into the meeting at Fremont, I knew some of the winos that were there. They had sobered up. So I could see that was working. And by listening, and I went to a lot of meetings. I know I hear these people say, "Oh, I went to 90 and I went to 180. Shit, I went every meeting there was there. And 5 on Saturday, 5 meetings in a day on Saturday. And man, it was just became my life. And Brad became part of that. You know, there's about 4 or 5 guys and maybe 5 women that are here that were instrumental parts of my sobriety. And I could tell you a story about each and every one of them that's totally shocking. Brad was my neighbor, and he came and went a couple of times, and finally I said, "Yeah, okay, I'll sponsor you." And I'm not very quick on that sponsor and stuff. And in fact, I'm not even very hip on it. I don't believe in it. Well, my sponsor's up above, and but I am friends with a lot of people. I just become their friends, and if they hang around with me, they're going to get the program. They're going to hear the program. I can guarantee you that. I mean, I have a friend here right now from Idaho. She came over to help me celebrate my birthday, and I had no idea. And I mean, it just brings me right to tears. And I walked in, she said hi, and I didn't even recognize her. So, and the program goes with me so much that I made a phone call last week. I called this guy, and I hadn't talked to him for a while. He lives in Salt Lake City, and so I called him and asked him how he's doing, just because I've been losing so many people, and just to see what he was up to. And he told me he was really depressed, and he wasn't doing a whole lot of AA, and that the political situation, his daughter had lost her job and all this stuff, and he was really depressed about it. And we talked for a while, and then I asked him how about his health. He says, "Well, I need to get a hip." And so I was able to pound on him for about 15 minutes and explain to him why he needed to get that hip, and he said he'd do it. I'm going to find out this week. I'm going to call him, but hopefully that helped him. He just sounded a whole lot better by the end of our conversation. And so the AA goes with me wherever I go. When I went to Idaho, I met a lot of people over there, and then I had friends move over there. I got 2 people I know right now that are over there. And boy, oh boy, I tell you, 49 years is just a blink. It's gone.
Yeah.
And time's going faster all the time for me. I don't know about anybody else. And so it makes it really nice. I knew Brad's father. And the funny part was about that one was there was a lady celebrating 53 years the other night, I think 53 or 54. And she talked about this lady that she knew and I knew. And then I remember that Brad's father, when I was in treatment, he was a big influence on me when I got out. And so then I met all of Brad's family. And as they came in and out of the program, there was just a string of them. Pretty amazing. And man, I don't know. I don't know where else you could get Twinkies. Anyway, I'm going to have a feast after the meeting. Am I getting close on time? Jeez, 5 minutes? I've only been talking 5 minutes?
5 minutes left.
I got 5 minutes left. Well, I can hold my breath for that long. That's another thing I do. I go down every morning, and go swimming and run the track and increase my lung capacity by 30%. That's some of the stuff that Alcoholics Anonymous has given me. And, I still believe in that chapter 2 Wise where it says that, if a person starts in Alcoholics Anonymous and they end up getting drunk and coming back, it might be a good thing. I think the thing of it is they'll know what they need to do. And that's to double and redouble their spiritual efforts. And if not, it doesn't matter because it says that you can just not worry about it at all because either God's removed it or he hasn't, which would imply that it's just this providence that happens. And then at the very end of that chapter, it says, so good luck, which would imply random chance. And so I don't know which of the three, see, so I just got to keep going to meetings and keep trying to give this thing away. They told me you got to give it away to keep it. And I've been all over, especially Idaho, and trying to give it away. And it's the best thing I ever had. And I mean, I got guys in this room, I can just go around and remember the circumstances trying to give it away to them. And they're real knotheads. So, and you have no room to laugh.
No, I do not.
So, the story I have about her would really,
Let's hear it.
she's making sure I see the time because I want to have.
12 out of 10.
Oh yeah, and what about this side? I'm telling you, through all those years, there's so many people. It's just been a wonderful life, and I'm not very grateful most of the time. I don't feel grateful, but right now I'm next to tears. My friend that came from Idaho, it's emotional, and Lara's first husband, same thing, and then there's always Austria, and she and I had a lot of little deals happen here lately. So, man, oh man, there's no better deal. I don't know anything that gives so much. I don't know anything that gives as much as Alcoholics Anonymous. And they said I could have it if I want it. It's free. And all you got to do is earn it. So anyway, now I'm down to 1:12. I know I can hold my breath that long. So, but, next year, see, I don't do this day at a time thing. I do it a year at a time. And, or Twinkie at a time too would be another good way. But it's been so good to me that there's just no way I could ever drink again without just thinking I was spitting in God's face. And that's one of the most important things when I wake up in the morning. It's the very first thing I thought. The first thought out of my head is all right, I get another chance to do it some more. To try and give it away more. So anyway, if you're hungry, see me after the meeting. And I think I'll sit down and get a cup of coffee and sit down and I'm telling you, this guy's really got a story. If he tells it, he'll amaze you before you're halfway through. So, thank you.
All right, thank you.